Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Diamond Suite, where you are a diamond because you are multifaceted. You have many personalities. You come in a lot of different colors. You are strong. You're highly valuable, and you have a story. And today, I have a fabulous guest. Unfortunately, one of our guests, she came down very ill, and we're sending our prayers up for her. Hope she feels better really soon. But today we have a phenomenal bridal designer, VANN, that we're going to bring out in a few minutes. But I wanted to welcome you. I am Joy Wansley. I am your host for this evening. And I am thrilled, so thrilled to have our guest with us today. The Diamond Suite Live is all about sharing your story and what makes you shine in your spaces, what makes you special, and what makes you find just something that really inspires other people. And that's what we're going to be sharing today with VANN. I'm so happy to bring her aboard. And without further ado, because she is here and she has a lot to share with us, I'm going to bring her on to the stage. If you are watching right here at Joy W Style, actually click on the video. And if you have comments, put them in the comment section below. We'll post them on the screen. I would love to field some questions for you as we are going through the show. Don't be shy. And if you haven't yet already, we want to make sure that we see your name along with your comments. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook. And that way, you can give StreamYard permission to actually show your name. So let's bring on our guest for this evening, VANN. I'm excited. Give her a hand clap, everybody. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Diamond Suite Live. You are a diamond in so many different ways, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me make sure we can hear you. There we go.
You can hear me pretty well?
I can hear you now. How
Hi,
are
everyone.
you?
I am doing great. So happy to be here.
Well, we have a whole hour just with you, so I know we have a lot to share, and we have some fabulous pictures of your beautiful designs. The Diamond Suite is all about sharing your story and knowing your why and why you do what you do, and how you got started, and from point A to what's next. So what I'm going to start off with the first question is, when did you fall in love with being a bridal designer? What inspired you to do that?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't have the story that a lot of people have. Like, my grandmother taught me when I was younger, things like that. I don't have that kind of story. No, I'll have to fast forward to bridal. Bridal came about in 2019. I had already started to do a couple of wedding gowns throughout time because I was known for more like red carpets and prom and stuff like that. And I would do a couple of wedding gowns, just sprinkle here and there. And in 2019, I just wanted to pretty much do a full change. I was tired of prom, and I went with the thing that made my heart warm when I created. And that was the thing that I love to do. I love to create. I love to sit in front of a bride to be and pick their brain and have them stare back at me and at the end of the day come up with something that they never could dream of. A lot of times they go to bridal salons, and there's nothing wrong with going to a bridal salon. But however, there are some people who just can't make up their mind what they see. They want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And you can't actually go into a bridal salon to tell them to put all these dresses together so I can come with my dream gown. And that's where custom designers come in at, where we're able to pull the idea out of a person's brain and go beyond and add our own twist to it, which makes us fashion designers to create that dream gown for them. So that was pretty much the thing that made me want to go pretty much, I would say 95% bridal.
Wow. Yeah. You bring a dream to life, and sometimes they don't know what their dream is. Mm-hmm. And you bring it all together. Wow. That's exciting. So when the bride comes in, how many times do they come in like with a whole album, like from when they were 6 years old? This is my dream. Can you make this all come together?
I don't really get those clients.
No.
On my website, it pretty much says that to come with a creative mind. You can come with inspiration, but the thing is that because of social, maybe if it was before social media time, but I wasn't really designing back then anyway. But now that you have Pinterest, you have Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Google, the mind kind of goes over and beyond. So that person who used to dream of this dream gown when they were younger, by the time they're done with Instagram before they actually come to the actually consultation, their mind has changed 40 million times. And that's the reason why it's kind of great that we are around. Not only me, you have other designers like Elle, L&L, you have Pantora, you have a lot of different people, Black designers, who pretty much are able to pull things and ideas to pretty much, come up with an original. So I don't think a lot of brides pretty much had that dream gown when they were younger. Social media has really took that away because you can see, I have brides who will send me one picture one week, and then like a week later, it's like 20 new pictures. Did you see this? Did you see this? Okay, how about we add this? So I don't really have or I have the bride to come in and just stare at me in my face because they just want me to just create something for them. They trust me that much. Wow. I get that about 50% of the time. A lot of brides have no idea. They know that I want a gown that's mermaid, and I want to fit, and I want to snatch me in, and they're like, so that's the end result. So I deal with all different kind of personalities, but my dream gown type of person, I haven't met one of them yet.
Oh, what would that be?
I don't know. I really don't want to. Because if it's not really my final say so and twist to it, I really won't design it anyway. Because that kind of takes me from being the fashion designer that has the overall creative control. I will say for somebody like that, you need to find a seamstress who pretty much maps off what you actually want. I'm not that person.
No. Have you ever had somebody that they were like a bridezilla, that they came in with just so many ideas and you couldn't get a word in edgewise?
Yes, they weren't my client at the end of the day, though.
Okay.
Because the honest truth is that I actually choose my clients.
Okay.
My consultation is not only for them to meet me, it's for me to meet them. And I can't work under stressful conditions. So I'm the type of person, if the vibe isn't there, I won't work with the person. And a lot of designers are actually, the reality, it's kind of harsh, but the reality is a lot of us are like that because this is pretty much how we have to have a clear mind in order to actually create. And our creative side comes from us having fun. And when you have someone that dampens that, people have to understand that when it's bridal season, which is now it's actually 12 months a year. It used to be a time with bridal season. Now weddings are every month. I have a wedding every month this year leading out. So they have to understand that I'm not only creating their gown, I'm creating other people's gowns at the same time. So if I feel as if me taking on your project is going to take away my headspace for me able to create for other people who are not doing what you're doing, I'd rather pass.
Wow. What is the average time to make a typical bridal gown, or is it depend on how many beads or the beading if it's really ornate?
I would go with the standard, and this is pretty much the standard time for a wedding gown. 6 months in advance, and we prefer 9 to 12 months in advance. So that pretty much gives you time to create, come up with a original design, gather fabrics, and come up with the overall idea and the fittings. So it's a process with that. When you go to a bridal salon, it's more so you walk in, you try the gown, you're like, my wedding gown, and they send off, And 3 to 4 months or 3 to 6 months down the road, the designer has put in for whatever manufacturing company they have to create it, and they send it back. You try it on, and then it goes to final alterations. Well, with me, it's totally different. I go through steps of creating a pattern, and like pretty much a toe fitting. And then from that, I'm going to fittings. So fittings can lead up to 30 days to probably 3 to 2 weeks before a wedding, just to make sure it actually has that perfect fit that you want. So it's totally different, and that's why we had that time frame in between that. And not only that, we're creating for other brides too, so we're pretty much fitting everyone in on the timeline.
So you're really truly invested, because you're spending so much time. You're getting to know the personality of the bride, and it also helps you to create that relationship, because you travel to weddings too to help with the bride when she gets ready.
Yes, I do. I am a faithful. Do you want me there in your day? Like, because a lot of people are comfortable with me up to that time. I've been with them the whole gown. Especially when it comes to corsets and things like that, they want that perfect fit. And a lot of brides are nervous that, whoever they have with them might not have it looking the way it did on their fitting, their final fitting. So I'm there to pretty much make sure they're dressed, make sure, before they walk down, the dress is fluffed out correctly, calm the nerves before they take the walk. I am the cheerleader. I have kicked out mother-in-laws, moms, bridesmaids. Really? Yeah, because it's a stressful time for brides. A lot of times the bride has no one there pretty much on her side. Everyone's trying to get dressed. So you have the bridesmaids trying to look good. The mother-in-law, some moms okay, some moms aren't, so I've had to kick out a mother-in-law. She said a little bit too much, so she had to get out. And me being the complete stranger that's not in the family or the friends, it's kind of, yeah. So it's almost like, okay, so she's here to do that, in which I am. And because a lot of the bride, they're not saying anything. They're just kind of like overwhelmed because they really have to walk down the aisle in front of people. And I understand that their heart is pounding like 40 miles per second. And they're just like, and then you have a bridesmaid that's, just throwing a fit because her eyelashes in the way she wanted it to be or something like that. And I'm like, hush, it's not about you. Or she didn't put enough makeup on me. This is not about you. Your clothes not stand out. Things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm there to pretty much help out the bride, make sure when they do their pictures that, they have the picture that they wanted. I might get on photographer nerves. A lot of photographers I work with here, they know me. And it's more like, okay, trading is coming. I don't have to worry about fixing the gown. Woo, thank you. But when I go to a whole nother state, we don't know each other. So I'm trying to introduce myself like, hey, I'm here with the bride. She hired me. You're going to see me walk in front of your camera to fix her gown. Okay? Like, hey, you might want to be glad I'm here because you might be taking 50 pictures. You only get 2. So let me make sure that you get 10. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I pretty much have to introduce myself. But yeah, that's the farthest part
you've had to travel for a bride to be there to fluff her gown.
What was that again?
How far have you traveled to be there by a bride's side?
Let me see. The farthest I had to travel. Well, I think Vegas. Was it? I think it was Vegas.
And you carry the dress on the plane with you?
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes they have it in advance. Sometimes they're too scared and I take it with me. So it just depends.
Yeah.
It depends on how much they trust me.
Well, by that point, they should trust you immensely.
I know, right? It's not usually the bride. It's like the bride's family. Like, we'll take it, like they don't know me too well, so I don't take it to heart.
Who inspires you? Being a designer, you have to get a lot of inspiration from everywhere, but is there someone in particular that inspires you or inspires your designs, or do you just sit in front of your of your tablet? Because don't you use a tablet to design?
I have everything I have has a stylus to it.
Okay.
So my phone, I think by now Samsung should give me a deal because I'm so I have a Samsung Galaxy.
Discount.
Yeah, I should. I'm always advertising them. Samsung Galaxy has a stylus. I had Note at first, now they transformed just Galaxy. So I have the 20 plus Ultra. So I'm able to sketch up there. I have a Surface that comes with a Microsoft Surface that comes with the stylus. Mm-hmm. I have a another Galaxy tablet that has a stylus. And then I ended up getting a iPad, in which I don't like Apple products at all. However, they have Procreate. And Procreate is something that a lot of designers use, and I realized why. It's a great program, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. I have that, and I have a measurement program up there too, because I hold all my measurements digital on the cloud. So I don't have to write them down anymore. I probably should do a backup, but it has its own cloud. But so that's what I use. Yeah, I have an Apple product finally. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Now, do you spend hours and hours just contemplating what you want to create, or do you use what the bride brings to you, or do you look at the person and say, I would recommend XYZ? Because some people will say, oh, I want a mermaid dress, and their body might not be perfect for a mermaid dress. How do you help them to decide?
All the above. Going back, my favorite designer, I don't have a modern day favorite designer. I have a vintage favorite designer, which is Zelda Wynn-Valdez, and she's pretty much was around the 50s and 60s, and I think going into the 70s. And she started her first like an African American fashion designer group, like you will see like the CFDA, whatever. But she pretty much was the pioneer of the mermaid gown. A lot of people don't know about her because not too many Black designers are actually around after a certain time. It is what it is. We either get brought out or we, a lot of us have to stay underground because that's the place for us to be at. But Zelda was so creative. So if you ever have a chance to look her up, you'll see what they have available about her history of it. But she was the first lady to create the Playboy bunny costume. And also pretty much she was the it woman that created for all other jazz singers back in the day. And the good thing about her, I think I loved about her the most, was even back in the day when it was Dorothy Dandridge and Eartha Kitt and things like this, they will still pay her $1,000 per gown. Wow. Back then. $1,000 back then for a gown is equivalent to like $10,000 now.
Wow. And
they were paying her for each gown. Not saying, let me get some exposure. Keep that in mind, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Now, was that the same designer that created Jackie Onassis?
Jackie no, Kennedy? That's Elle.
Okay.
And she just, it's so crazy how many years passed by before she actually got acknowledgement for that. They just pretty much put her as a Negro made it. And at first they didn't even put that. Jackie Onassis just said a Negro made it. She didn't get, and the thing is, the credit that she should have is even more greater because her studio had a leak in it. And the gowns were water damaged. So I think she recreated everything like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And back then, a lot of things were done by hand. Even though they had sewing machines, but a lot of things were handcrafted more because we have more advanced sewing machines they had back then. So honestly, she should have got even more credit. But it was just considered as a Negro did it. So a lot of and a lot of people don't realize when we pretty much design, like, we don't have any Black designers. A lot of people got washed out. And their ideas were stolen. Their techniques were stolen. that mermaid, that's Zelda Wynn Valdez. I've seen so many people even copy her collections of floral designs. I won't go on which designer really did that. And I knew, I looked at it like, hold on.
Wow.
That's a pure copy. You didn't even give her no credit today. So that's the thing is a bit, I look at her as a pure example of she was like the first Black woman to have a couture boutique in New York. I want to say it was in Manhattan.
And her name again is?
Zelda Wynn Valdez. Zelda Wynnvaldes.
Wow.
So look her up. Great to know.
Will.
Mm-hmm. You had another question, but I had to go back to that, but I forgot what it was.
Well, you answered it, who the inspiration was, but I forget what the second half of the question was, but that's okay. I got plenty of questions for you. So in today's industry, in the bridal industry, about how many prominent women of color or Black designers are there, would you say, that are prominent, that are getting notoriety?
Let's go there. Okay. This is where we go through the whole, it's always a disconnect this way. Some of us actually design with our hands and some people don't. And I don't knock the either or. And then some of us get to a point where we have so much clientele where we cannot design with our hands anymore. We get, we have either manufacturer offshore, or we've created our own manufacturer, or we have some type of manufacturer in state that's allowing us to shoot our design, to go over everything and, get the production going, in which I'm actually going through that stage, finding the manufacturer work for me, because a lot of things that I can't, when it comes to a whole point of having a collection, and creating. So you have a question. You see that?
Yeah, I just popped it up. I was waiting for you to
okay. Yeah. So I would say let's see, under 10 maybe.
Really?
And like I said, I just crossed over into the bridal world 2020. I didn't announce it until November 2019. You gotta think about it. Pandemic happened in March. So I really didn't I'm just starting to really, but in that time, that short time frame between 2020 and 2022, I don't know what happened. I still had some brides and some designs that were featured in Munaluchi, Be Collective. I've been in Essence, couple of magazines, and
that's so exciting.
I don't know how I got there. I don't have the answer for it, because there's a lot of people who've been doing this longer than me. And I have to say, I'm very grateful for being able to kind of push ahead of that. Maybe sometimes it has to do with my marketing, and maybe because I'm like a rebel when I design. I don't really focus on what other people are doing, and I look, but I don't have that thing like, I have to do the big full fluffy gown like everyone else is doing.
Right.
I always say my motto is, I'm whimsical, kissing haute couture. So it was like, it's a mixture of that. I just do what I want to do. And I think that pretty much pushes me above. I just had a bride that went viral for her jumpsuit. A lot of people probably wouldn't do it this way, wouldn't do it that way. I don't care. I design how I want to design. So, and and my brides, they are pretty much like, when it comes to reception, they're 9 times out of 10, they don't care. They're like, I just want to be comfortable and do what you do. And I get that put in my plate, and people love it. I've even had people like, girl, you should have worn it the whole wedding. I'm like, because it didn't come into the wedding gown. They're like, hey, can you please not outdo my wedding gown? I'm like, I don't know how not to do that. So just don't show me your wedding gown. And I'm like, people like, you should have worn it the whole night. So I think it's a good thing, but
So are pantsuits becoming popular for
yeah,
weddings?
they actually are. They actually are because I'm not a real girly dress type of person either. When I was married 14 years ago, I just eloped. I didn't even have a wedding. And a lot of people think like you didn't do the gown. Like, no, if I ever do any type of renewal, it's not going to be a gown. It's going to be some type of over the top jumpsuit. So I love designing jumpsuits. I love coming up with. I haven't even created the over the top how I really wanted to yet because like I said, the pandemic interrupted a lot for me. So
Yeah.
I'm just getting started. So if you're coming to me as a bride right now, you're getting like okay, now y'all gonna see what I can do. Kind of travian. So you're lucky. Pretty much.
So during 2020, during COVID, what did you do? Did you sit back and just freestyle and design other things besides bridal? Or did you rest? Or did you see, or did you focus on, okay, once we get back up and running, how am I going to market it to kind of get myself in the thick of things again?
None of the above. And this is not for you to feel sorry for me or anything. I had a death that came right February 2020. So the pandemic, I needed it. Because the person that passed away was here with me almost every other day. He was pretty much like a son to me. So that was very devastating for me. So a lot of my passion kind of flew out the window.
Wow.
And I didn't get to, like, a lot of people kind of blew up during pandemic because they didn't have nothing but time. They was like, okay, I'm gonna make some stuff. I couldn't even think during that time. A lot of times, I would say for the first part of 2020 was a crying moment for me. So if I did do anything, I was really pushing myself and I didn't give my best. Although I still satisfy clients, I just felt like I didn't give my best. 2021, it was a little bit better, but it was still that moment of that's one reason why I kind of switched up my whole studio. Because I kind of wiped out. It was almost kind of like a refreshing moment for me to kind of not get rid of memories, but so far kind of start over because it was so much of a trying time for me. So 2022, me moving into the designs I'm moving into now, I'm just starting to cross over to travian, man. Like the whole thing is I had a bride that I did a gown for in 2019 that really crossed me over for 2020 and 2021. That gown and her jumpsuit like went super, super viral. It had me posted everywhere, and it was a blessing because I still wasn't mentally there. And then I created another two that kind of took me over too. And by that time, people forgot about everything else I did. They just put me for bridal. And it was crazy how it happened. But out of the blue, I was just, hey, let me introduce you to this bride design. I'm like, I'm a bride designer. Okay, yeah, I'm a bride designer. Although that's what I wanted to do, but I truly did not expect for it to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
I would thought that at this moment and my followers went from, I think at that moment I had under maybe like 8,000 or maybe 7,000 followers, or something like that. And I'm almost close to 40,000 followers now. So it's just kind of like, in that short amount of time, I've built that. Here and there with my with the interns I have that's come from like ODU. I'm so grateful ODU students because they have been a blessing to me. The girls there has helped me build, because I'm still a small business, so I can't really hire how I want to. But they come with a willing desire. Even though they have other jobs, they still come in. And they're like, okay, what we gotta do, And I'm so grateful for that they actually believe in my dream.
Yeah.
And so in 2 years, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Maybe my fashion son has become my guardian angel, and he's making some things shake behind the stage. I always say that, but He has to be, because some people are like, did this just happen? Yeah, so yeah, pretty much.
Well, it gave you time. It gave you a little bit of time to grieve and gave you time to rest. Yeah. Well, you do have a question. Terry Griggs asks, what's the shortest time that you had to design a gown? And what would a price of gown average be for you?
Shortest time. Are we talking about bridal? Or are we talking about
I would assume so. She says gown, but I would assume so bridal.
Because I would say I could do a gown tonight and have it tomorrow. But my mind is crazy. So I don't ever, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I've never ever admitted to that. Because
somebody will hold you to it.
It will get me hammed up. You know, I feel like that, and this could be the first time I've ever admitted to that. If anybody sees the viral jumpsuit that's on my page right now, and she's gonna kill me if she sees this. But hey, she went viral, so who cares, right? I actually did it the day before.
Wow.
I didn't have. I had so many orders. I knew I could do it, and she didn't have a fitting. It just fit. When she came in, she put it on, and it fit. Wow. She's already a previous bride, but she lost a lot of weight, so she had a new body. You know what I'm saying? Like she had been working out, and then she lost pretty much like 30 pounds or so, like 30. So she was a big difference.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, it was like the hips went down, the waist went down, and she was. And normally we have fittings for her. She was in the mirror like, I could take this home, and I'm like, yeah. And I don't think she realized that, yeah, I did it the day before. But I don't actually say that to people because they like hold you up to that. But I do ask for people to give me that 6-month span because I can't always do that. I had the COVID not so long ago, and it took me away from doing some stuff with some clients. So I try not to play with time because you just never know, especially with this COVID. You just never know.
Right.
I was down for 3 weeks, so
wow.
You know, I kind of figured that out. That I want to work way in advance to make sure people have their garments. But an average price of a gown for me is I start off at $5,000. I start at $5,000, and it goes up from there. It just depends on what my clients want. I would say the highest so far has been 16 grand. So I don't know. I'm sure I'll go further than that in the future, depending on what somebody wants. But yeah, we start with 5,000 for a standard gown.
Okay.
And jumpsuits start off pretty much roughly around 2,500 to $3,000 up and above, depending on what it is. She said, "Do I have a boutique in Jackson?" No, I am in Hampton, Virginia. However, I have clients that come into me from everywhere. I've had clients fly in from the islands. I have clients that are in London. I have clients that come from me all the way from Canada. This week I had a client that came from Arizona. So like a lot of clients come to me, and if they need me to come to them, we can set up that good old plane ticket.
Well, you're near the beach, so it's, part vacation, part, work when they come.
Yeah, pretty much. I tell them, I'm like, hey, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Norfolk, have fun.
Yeah.
Because how do you balance work and personal life? Whew, okay.
That's a good question.
I'm still finding that formula. And for y'all, the person asking this question is actually my sister. So she said she's putting me on the spot because she know I don't have any balance, and I should. I'm working on that. I've learned to say no a lot more than what I used to in the past. I used to say yes to everything, and I realized even that was like a hindrance for me. So I'm learning to not work all the time. Take breaks, start early, leave early, things like that. Or if I do have a late night, I don't do it all the time. I used to hardly get sleep, and then the doctor told me, do you want to be around to,
Can't do that.
yeah, do you want to be around in the future to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor? I'm like, yeah. So I had to start going to sleep. I had to adjust things, and I had to start pricing different. I think a lot of times when I was staying up late and working, I was working myself to death because I wasn't really charging as much. And I think that's one thing that happens with a lot of Black fashion designers. They don't know how to charge for the worth. Um, and they just don't think they can actually find that clientele who will actually pay them for it. I'm in the middle of Virginia. I have clientele who are millionaires, and then they live in Virginia. So you just have to set up yourself. You have to speak into existence that you will find that clientele. That clientele will find you. You have that mutual attraction, and it will happen. It might not happen overnight, and sometimes it does. But you have to pretty much present yourself, and that's not the reason why I'm doing a YouTube in reference to not teaching people how to design, but the business aspect of it to do less work with more money. Because I know a lot of designers, they take on a lot of work. And I meant well, the dresses cost $250 and they're doing 20 of them and they have to be done in that 2 weeks. I'm like, hold on.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And I used to be there. But some people, they don't feel as if they can get more. I just took that chance and I realized it could happen. So I will be teaching that a little bit more because I feel like, especially in the Black community, and when it comes to being, having great customer service to actually get that and keep that clientele. Because I get a lot of referrals. A lot of my clientele are referrals, and that's a great thing. When you get referrals, you're doing something right. If you find yourself seeking people and you're doing so many ads just to get new people out, people sending people, it's something wrong, So I'm grateful about referrals. But back to this balance, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm getting there with work and personal life. I'm starting to take, like mental breaks, go out to dinner with my husband because we can work a lot. If anybody ever follow my page, you'll see my husband post it from time to time. Literally, he's down the hall now cutting out some fabric while I'm on this call because we're working on another gown. And like things like that, he helps me out with that. As far as for the day of a wedding, people know they call, "Hey husband, hey Mr. Van," because he's there to fluff out the gown right with me. So we become a known team when we appear places. He's like, "Who's your partner for your event? Who's your sister?" I'm like, "My husband." And they're like, "What? Your husband?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, they don't understand.
What is the biggest challenge? I mean, as an entrepreneur, besides balance, what would you consider to be the biggest challenge? And on the flip side, what's the biggest opportunity in the bridal industry for Black designers?
The biggest challenge for me, I would just say for all of us, the biggest challenge is pretty much, you know what? I wouldn't even say for myself. I would know. I saw it was something I saw on a bridal page, and it was very disheartening when I read it. It wasn't necessarily about me, but I know a lot of people who are trying to get into the bridal industry that have had this problem. People love to go viral, right? And that's the thing. A lot of brides, they want to be seen. And there was a particular person who was turned down because her following wasn't up, but her designs were. And people just need to learn how to give people chances. I'm very grateful for the women who have given me a chance. I've always said that along the way I've messed up, and I have people who probably like, let me wait till she get a little bit better. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm grateful for those people who allowed me and gave me a second chance. And I think, especially in the Black community, when somebody messes up, you write them off. And I think that's a big challenge for a lot of Black bridal designers. They pretty much have been written off, and they don't get a chance to either shine about their designs, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say that I experienced a little bit, but I've been fortunate enough to kind of skip over a little thing because, you know, somehow along the way, God has set it up for me to, you know, kind of go over that thing where I can just, I don't know, maybe I market different, or I have a way of reaching the audience a little bit differently. But I will say that that is a big problem for a lot of Black designers. Me personally, it will be expanding my team so that I'm able to take in more work. I had to turn down work because I'm only one person. So that's the challenge. And I think you said the opportunity. Um, Bridal, it's no ceiling with bridal. See, the thing is, when you have prom, it was just it. They had prom. You know, you just get the prom gown, whatever. Or when someone has a birthday party, you know, you gotta wait around for another X amount of year for another event. But with weddings, it's so much the possibilities are endless. I create the bridal shower dress. I've created the bachelorette dress. I've created the bridal robe. I create the bridal gown, the reception, or let's say the wedding dinner dress before the wedding. Dress when they're about to go out of town with their, you know, their spouse to celebrate their honeymoon, and then they come back and they sell, and then they're doing their maternity shoot. You know, so it's pretty much bridal has opened a lot. I sell veils, the t-shirts to say little catchy things, and those are coming out soon. Most of my brides, they don't go anywhere else for headpieces because I have them here. Yeah. My sister headpiece, yeah. I had the headpiece, the earrings here. She knows. I had the headpiece, the earrings here. That's one of my big supporters too, my sister. So I would say and they have preservatives. You can preserve your gown, you can bring it back. I send it off to the company. So with the wedding, it's endless.
One stop.
And then people like, you know, I'll have the anniversary shoot. Can I do this? Or 5 more years down the road, we're gonna do this again. Can I do another? Can I get another wedding gown? You know, so I have another bride who she's counting down. I have 2 brides who are counting down to 5 years so they can do it all over again. I'm just like,
so you tell them to come back in year. Do you tell them to come back in year 4 to prepare for year 5?
They know. They every time they see a bride on the page, they are inboxing me or texting me, get ready, I'm coming back, you know. So it's great, you know. That's a great thing to have people, and they send people too. So that's a good feeling for them to actually want to come back and do it all over again.
Yes.
She said one-stop shop. Yes, one-stop shop. Thank you.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to make it that way. So I'm working on pretty much getting a lot of bridal robes created. So you get that. The little catchy phrases, jewelry, everything. So that part of my business is called the Bridal Glam Room. So about VANN. So that part is still part of VANN, but it's the Bridal Glam Room. I just want to put it a little different, you know, so I can post all the accessories and things like that and still post brides without everything intertwined.
Now you spoke a little bit about marketing. You said you might market a little bit differently. How do you market now? What works for you versus everybody else in the industry? What do you do differently that makes you shine?
Well, the truth is I'm a nerd. That's what everyone tells me, at least. They call me a market nerd. My friend just told me that he was like, because you're a nerd. And it's just that they laugh, they joke, whatever. But the thing is, I will sit around and come up with some crazy ideas. I'm goofy. So any bride will let you know that once you sit in here, we're laughing. If you don't laugh at me, we did not connect. You know, we're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. So I think with that, I pulled that into my my marketing. I am a heavy real person. I have an intern who's doing my TikTok because TikTok is not my ministry. I have tried. And
I
when I
know.
tell you, I was so upset. Like, I can't figure out TikTok. What the heck? She's not reels. She's younger. She's one of my older youth students. She got it.
I get it.
We took off everything, and she's starting it all over. And yeah, the results show that, maybe me being almost 40 is not for me. But but Instagram, okay, that's nothing for me now. I can do that. But I've noticed how to say different things. I've learned my audience, and that's the biggest thing for people. People need to learn their audience. Once
That's
you learn
big.
your audience, get to know who your main contributors to. And that's the contributors is your commenters. People who always replying, go girl, whatever. Make sure you pin them. Make sure you acknowledge them because those are people who always share your stuff. Here's a little bit of hits I've learned along the way. Even thing what Facebook is more so if I post over there, it has its own algorithm that I'm going to figure out again. I used to be very heavy on Facebook, but I'm actually about to go back because I had to build up the Instagram side because now Instagram is based off videos and Facebook is trying to build up that way. So I'm going to have to catch on and get that together. Also, I'm about to start working on Pinterest because Pinterest doesn't have algorithm. You can post there and it'll just be gone it'll just roll over for the next year or two. I haven't posted anything on Instagram in about a year or two, and my same pictures are still surfacing up. So they resurface all the time. And I get
On
hits
Pinterest or Instagram?
Pinterest. I get hits from Pinterest because they have a business side now. So I get hits from that, and I haven't posted I don't know how long. I really wasn't trying to post. I just put some pictures over there, just the whole place, and that was it. But the main thing that has built up I would say my business has been Google. I am a heavy Google person. I'm good on reviews. A client would tell you that I go over and beyond because I don't want no 1 star. So you're not gonna 1 star me without a fight. So I'm gonna make sure I do over and beyond because you're not gonna 1 star, 1, 2, or 3, 4 star me. I love my 5 stars. So and my clients will go head to head with you. If you do a 1 star on me, they'll come back. They're like, so I would say those are things that I have been heavy on. I am an over pleaser for my clients. Sometimes I think I go over and beyond way too much, but it has helped me out. I get referrals that way. I'm able to teach others how to do it. So me doing that has allowed me to grow business wise, mentally, in reference to that. So it has its perks. Marketing.
Now you said you have a YouTube channel. Is it same Travian VANN?
Well, I haven't started. Well, actually, I have a YouTube, but I have never really paid attention to it. I posted a while back, but I'm not gonna start that over. No, it was actually travian.nicole. I'm not actually thinking about doing a bridal page. I hadn't thought about that. I probably should, but the travian.nicole will be the same thing on my Instagram because I have another Instagram, which is travian.nicole, and that's where I will be pretty much talking about the business side of being a bridal designer or a fashion designer, period.
I think that's fantastic. It's your way of giving back. Would you consider that your why for what you do in order to give back?
Part of, yes, because I will tell you, when I first started, I started off in the flea market. I was just doing a boutique. And this flea market, it had birds flying and frogs jumping, everything. But what I did was I took a space and I made, when people came by, they forgot that they were actually in a flea market. My husband and I, we painted the floor, we painted the walls, we had fixtures up in there. And when you walk by, for a moment, you didn't think you were actually in a flea market. And people will actually come to me every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Wow. They come there, grab items, and leave. And I was fortunate to get a partner at that time. This one had a boutique, and we opened up a larger location. And the same thing happened. People just flocked to it, and we had that type of energy to bring people in the shop. I ended up learning how to sew. So, pretty much I went that direction. And I kept that same thing going. No matter what location I had, I tried to make it into a location when somebody comes, they forget about where they are and they want to actually shop. So I've carried that on all the way through, even up to now. Just creating.
How long ago was that?
Woo, child. I opened my boutique in 2000. The flea market was 2010.
Okay, so you haven't been doing this bridal too long.
I learned how to sew 2012. July. Actually, it's my 10th year. July of 2012. I was working on some bow ties or something I came up with. My mom, she's a seamstress. She doesn't know how to do patterns and stuff like me. She's not like into the heavy designing, just the basic stuff. And she was actually creating those for me. And she made me sit down and learn because there was so many orders coming in. And I didn't get up. I had someone ask for a dress, a cocktail dress by October 2012, and then someone asked for a jumpsuit around that time. And when they wore it, people were like, where did you get that from? Like, who made that? And I was starting to get orders, and I'm just like, I don't do this for. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I am a designer. But it was those little stretchy dresses and things like that. Then the girl asked me to do her prom gown, her rain dress and her prom gown. And from that, I just became this prom gown designer. I'm just like, okay, well, maybe this is what I'm doing, Maybe I'm the prom gown lady. And I would do events along the way. Let's see, 2000-ish, 14-ish. I did one for, it's a fitness lady. Her name is Bo Tally. She pretty much had to host, I think, what's the singer? Charlie Wilson Super Bowl party. And I made a dress for her. And when she wore that dress, because she's a heavy influencer as well, when she wore that dress, I started to get like a lot of like followers. I'm just like, okay. I did one wedding gown that year. That was kind of like a tester to see what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing that made me take off was when I actually did something for Erica Campbell. And that was 2015. And that kind of put me on as far as for getting seen. I've done a lot of more people since then. We can go on and on with that. But I've seen the red carpets a couple of times in my life now. I've taken a break from that world because it can become very stressful. And that made me move it. It can. Red carpet.
I remember you did the Grammys.
I've actually created for the Grammys. I've actually created for Soul Train. I've created for NAACP. What else? Oh yeah, WWE Awards. Yeah, because that was Sasha Banks. It's been I did the whole SWV. I did Yana Van Zant, Jasmine Sullivan, did some Fantasia. Yeah, it's been a couple people. And then one thing I will never ever do again would be Love and Hip Hop. That was a whole nother story.
Well, I do.
Let's just say I never got that dress back, huh? Okay.
I want to see some of your pieces, but in speaking with you yesterday, there was a quote that I wrote down, and you said, write that down, and you said, "The dress transforms to the body, not the body for the dress."
You want me to explain that one?
Yeah, explain it for the people.
This is why she says that. I always tell people I'm not a magician, but I create magic. So I need to write that one down too, right? But I'm not a magician, I create magic. And the reason why I say this is because, everyone's body shape is not the same. So when a client comes to me, I'm pretty much studying your flaws or things that you may not like, or things you're constantly talking about that you don't like. I jot that out in my head. And I can look at your body structure. I can see where I can pull in. and I can see where I'm not going to pull in. I can see where we're going to create some type of shape and things like that. So, when a client comes to me, you know, when you're pretty much looking at somebody else's picture, that's cool. But I love to create something that is just for you, that fits your body type, that you're going to be comfortable in, and you have something original that somebody can bring in next time and say, you remember this one right here? I love this one. So that's the main thing for that. Like I'm here to create, to bring out what you have and to make you look snatched when you walk down the aisle, pretty much.
Yeah, you want those aha moments. All right, let me pull up. Hopefully this will bring it in. Let me add this to the stream. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good sizes. Let me get rid of the banner so we can. There we go. So can you tell us a little bit about this pantsuit? Can you see it? Yeah.
Oh yes, this is Anita Hawkins. She's pretty much a heavy influencer too. Most of the time she worked with Jay Bolin. But this was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I created this, and this is actually a jumpsuit with a cape to it. The cape was detachable. She's really risque, so she pretty much has like the boy shorts underneath of it with the bra and with the black bra. So she's really famous for her short haircut, and she's a really frisky person. This one right here is one of my latest brides. She didn't want the traditional wedding gown, so we went for pink. We went a blush color. So her whole wedding was pretty much, I created a pink robe for her. We had the blush wedding gown and we had a blush jumpsuit at the end.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
See, this is actually the detached part. You have to actually show the original. This is actually after. This was a detachable dress, so no one will understand until you actually see the original one. The original one was pretty much that's the full gown. The skirt actually came down and it turned into what it was originally from the first picture.
So it went from this to this.
Yep. So the under part, no one knew it was even underneath of it. So we slide it down and it becomes the cocktail dress.
2 for 1. It's a good twofer.
This part right here pretty much had she wanted a Game of Thrones Game of Thrones theme. So I gave her, she wanted gold. So we pretty much did, she had a 2 weddings in 1 year kind of deal. She had a micro wedding. I did that gown. And then this was the wedding gown. And I get a lot of non-traditional brides. This is another one that was more of a champagne style with it. I'm not sure you had the picture with her in it. I think I sent the one with her and her husband, but I create a lot of gowns that are pretty much non-traditional. That's not mine.
Oh, it's not? Oh.
And this was for Miss For America. This was a gown that she wore for the awards, and she placed for Miss Fitness in that. So she was for Miss for Virginia, and we custom designed her gown as well.
Wow. Is that you?
Yes, that's mine. This is maternity shoot. It's a maternity shoot. This is, who is this? Kia Proctor. She's actually the children's mother to Cam Newton. Okay. So I've done a couple of shoots with her before too.
I think that's all that I have. But ladies and gentlemen, to see more of her phenomenal, when I say phenomenal designs, plus go to travian.nicole.com, and you can go to Travian Von on Facebook as well, and on Instagram.
And on actually TikTok now too as well.
And on TikTok. We will get that TikTok. We will get that up and running.
Yeah, TikTok.
Fabulous. But does anyone have any questions? It's 7 o'clock, and or actually 7:01. But does anybody have any questions that you would like to ask Travian Vaughn? Or do you have a special event coming up? Are you a bride? Do you have a gala that's coming up that she could absolutely do something fabulous for you? Um, just put it in the comment section. If not, definitely check out her on social media because she is very, very busy and her talent, it exceeds, I mean, you're worldwide now, right? Have you done international?
I have I have clients in London. I've done things from, like I said, Canada, the islands. So I'm, pretty much going abroad with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, do you have people that just come to your studio just to see, if you have anything like on hand, or is everything custom?
majority of everything is custom. I'm pretty much by appointment only, so can't just walk in here. So the majority of the time, I'm not even in his office. I'm creating down at my other office. So with that, yeah, everything's pretty much by appointment only. We are working on having more made ready to wear items. So this is what we're going to manufacturing for. We'll take our designs and get it kind of mass produced, because a lot of times what I'm creating on is pretty much focused on custom design.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, we'll end with this. If there was one thing that you could say to somebody who is kind of dabbling in designing, who thought about it, but keeps, the imposter syndrome just knocks them off their feet, what would be one thing that you would say to them to inspire them?
I will say to just try a lot of different genres of fashion. Mm-hmm. And just keep on, not just try to dab into gowns, or try to just dive into streetwear. Try a little bit of this and that, because you just never know what will actually spark your brain to do. Because actually, I am also working with another company in reference to ready to wear, and that will come out next year. So I'm being able to actually go into both worlds. So I always say that, sometimes you have to go blind to social media, because social media can push you think you're not doing too good. You think you're not doing you're not up to date with what's going on. Your following isn't up. You don't have that many pictures and things like this. Sometimes I just tune deaf to everything that's going on social media and focus on myself, because I can only do what I can do. And God has allowed me to find clientele who love exactly what I do. And if someone loves what somebody else do, guess what I do? Send them that way. So I will always, I'm so serious. I've had people that can you make me this? I'm like, I know this designer. Her page is X blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking for me. You look for me to produce what you want, or you might think that I'm going to charge something different, and I might actually charge more. So I would say to just blind yourself from everything else that's going on. Focus on you. Find out what exactly is your niche, and you can pretty much go from there.
Well, you heard it here.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to charge what you're worth. That's a big thing. Charge what you're worth, and don't get discouraged when people tell you that you're not worth that. Because all it takes is for one person to come along to know that you are and pay it and give you the biggest confidence in the world. Believe me, I've been there. I had someone tell me to go back and send them another invoice because that wasn't large enough.
Wow.
And I appreciate her every time for doing that, because she put me in a position in my mind to know that not to settle for less anymore. Because I used to be scared to charge people. Now, if you don't want to pay it,
bye.
Bye. And that's the biggest advice I can give people. There's a lot of people out here who are very great, and they are slaving over a sewing machine because they're not charging them what they're worth. And we need to start charging what we're worth.
Yeah.
Other people do.
Yeah. Well, when are you going to start? When are you going to start coaching and training. I want people who are out there. I know
I
people who
I
are
am paying
watching that
for
are
this.
designers.
Yeah, I have the crazy thing is I have a page. It's like like 11,000 followers over there because I was just playing around, doing things with sewing and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like on ice right now. I do post over there occasionally. However, I will start doing more of that in September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on pretty much trying to figure out what I want to post. Things like that, what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through that in my brain before I dive into it because I do want to, pretty much have subjects to help people and, coach them into being the best designer they can be. I'm not going to teaching them how to sew. So I'm the people that know in that dance. I am not a teacher. I've tried that before. That's not my ministry. I get frustrated real easy of repeating myself. So that I learned a long time ago that is not for me. But however, for a lot, I do want to teach people how to charge what they're worth
Mm-hmm.
and to sew less, get more money, and get their business structure up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my goal.
Well, I want to thank you for being so transparent because a lot of people, they're
Mhm.
not, and it's always good just to be real and to be giving back to those who have a dream but are afraid to step out and step up. So thank you. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Thanks for having me as well.
Oh,
And
you're
for everybody
welcome.
who tuned in, thank you.
Yes, thank you everybody for tuning in. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. And stay tuned for next month. It'll be the first Sunday of the month, and we're excited. We have some awesome guests planned for that. I'm not sure of the date yet. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but stay tuned. Watch, Joy W Style. Follow me here, and it'll be promoted. It'll be promoted. So have a wonderful week, everyone. And thank you again for coming into the Diamond Suite Live. We'll see you next time. Bye for
Bye.
now.